everybody, and welcome to another episode of Positivity. We are delighted to be joined by Nicky Larkin today. Hi, Nicky.
Good morning, Alex.
How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Good. And whereabouts in the UK are you?
I'm in Upper Baston, which is in West Berkshire.
Oh, lovely. And have we got the heat wave carrying on down there, or is it clouded over?
Well, it's actually just started to rain, which everyone I think is quite relieved about.
Secretly very happy about it. Oh, amazing. So thank you so much for joining us on Positivity. So we always start the day with a cuppa, very British. So have you got your cuppa to hand?
I have. I've got my cup of tea.
Amazing. Oh, amazing.
My second favourite podcast, obviously, after yours.
I've heard about this as well, so that you're a big fan of it. And what's your tea of choice? What's your go-to?
English breakfast for first thing. Later on, a bit of Earl Grey.
Yeah, good decision. I'm loving this. We've had lots of very British Yorkshire teas and so on. None of this fluffy fruity stuff.
Twining's English breakfast. Although we've been having a lot of Cornish cream teas that we've been sending to people for when we've been having little team meetings, and that keeps on sending Cornish tea. So I've been having the Cornish tea, which has been very nice.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love that idea. We might have to use that here. And so what is it that you do for work that you've been sending these lovely Cornish teas?
Yes. So yes, I've got an accountancy practice. So I've got a lovely team of people that work with me on that. And then I'm also an NED for a flood protection company as well.
Oh, wow. And so two very diverse areas there. And how's 2020 been for you, and have the companies been impacted?
Definitely has been unique. 2020 started full of optimism and everything, but we've obviously just had to keep adapting as we go along. I mean, the positive things though, the weather's been lovely. The weather's been lovely. We've been recruiting some lovely people, so that's good too. Yeah. Obviously there was for the flood protection side, there was terrible floods in February, so they've been very busy, although of course they had to stop during lockdown. But yeah, it's and for all our other businesses that we look after too, it's been, I'd say it's driven innovation.
Yes,
that's what it's done.
And I think lots of the people I've spoken to on this podcast, it's been crazy and it's been thrust upon everyone, but actually it's given everybody an opportunity to do those things that they were potentially thinking about or wanted to do but didn't necessarily have the time. But actually this will help them moving forward. Is that something that you found with your clients? Oh,
absolutely. I mean, now, you know, everybody's doing webinars because it's now just so easy, whereas it was a real big technological challenge often to do them. So you might only do them a couple a year or something. During lockdown, we've been doing them every week to try and keep in touch with clients. We're giving them all the updates and everything. So yeah, it's been able to accelerate a lot of things. So, you know, those things that you've thinking, oh yeah, I must get round to doing that, but you never really do get round to doing. You've had to get round to doing everything now and get yourself up to speed. You know, everyone's now super great on Zoom or Google Web Chat or your MS Teams. Which is great. So it's made everybody had to learn everything.
Yeah. And do you think that will carry on, or do you think there's an element of online fatigue now after months of this, or do you think it's a positive that we move forward?
I think there has been moments of online fatigue, definitely. You know, I think I probably peaked when I had about 16 online meetings in one day. That was probably slightly too many. But I think people are now starting to get a bit of a balance. So, you know, they're mixing having, you know, still quite a few days at home being online, but also having that interaction in an office as well, or going out to meet their clients. So it's getting a bit more of a balance now, which is a good thing. So, but it's their choice, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly. And that's balance for the work life, but life outside of work as well.
Indeed.
I think it's so important. And I don't know if you found this with your colleagues, but I've certainly seen that it's humanized everybody, and everyone is learning more about their home lives of their colleagues that they would never really have felt they could ask. But actually it is okay to ask. It is okay that, you know, you have a dog running in on a Zoom call, or children running in the background, and an Amazon delivery coming. I just think that's so important for the health of a workplace. Is that again something that
yeah, no, absolutely. It's because when you're having meetings, you're actually visiting your team or your clients in their own home, so it's much more intimate normally than being in a, you know, a stale office. So yeah, you do get to know a bit more about people's personalities, a bit more about their home life, about their hobbies. And we certainly, at the beginning of the lockdown, I mean, we have daily huddles now because we want to make sure that they've still got that, still have that team bonding. But we were doing like silly things, like always having a question like, you know, what's your favourite flower? What's your favourite place to go on holiday? Just like silly things to go into your team huddle with, but just to get to know everybody a little bit better, because you haven't got those water cooler times,
yes,
or you know, your kitchen chat stuff. So we're trying to make sure that you know, still people were showing their individual sides as well.
yeah, that's so true. And I've been looking at a phrase to call it. I'm going to call it the water cooler time. That's so good, because that's so important, and particularly with the mental health aspect of everybody through
Yeah.
times.
No, we definitely, I mean, we didn't do it from day one, but I'd say just a few weeks, we did the team huddles daily from day one of lockdown, but we then a few weeks later, it still wasn't enough in getting those one-to-one chats. So we started saying, right, everybody has to have at least one coffee chat or tea chat every day with somebody else in the office. So it's not, and they weren't allowed to talk about work. It was just purely a, you know, what did you have for lunch? Oh, how's little Johnny? Or whatever else it was going to be about, to have those team interactions.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. I'm going to steal that and give that to my dad, because I speak to him and he is just Zoom call after Zoom call up, work, but actually he needs to engage and, you know, chat about normal stuff as well.
Yeah, no, and you have to, because especially, I mean, there was times where you do get a little bit more stress. Like at one point I had one of my colleagues stroke friends was seriously ill, had to go to hospital, and my son's friend was also in hospital, and it was so you're trying to deal with everything plus the stress. You need to have an outlet, let you know, a friendly outlet for those bits, because you can't just be professional all the time.
Yeah, so true. And to raise awareness to everyone else as well, and to show vulnerability, I think, is really important across all levels. That's really interesting. So when you do have these huddles, and what is it that you're chatting about personally? I'm loving hearing how everyone has, what they've been doing in their personal lives during lockdown. Has there been any favourite things you've done, or how have you kept positive? And
yeah, so I mean, everybody, it does seem that the majority of people have been a lot better on their exercise quotient, which is great. I went a bit crazy at the beginning and just thought, oh yes, all this extra time I'm going to run every day. And 2-3 weeks later, yeah, of course, ended up with huge injuries, and so couldn't run for 6 weeks. So that wasn't, it didn't quite go to plan. So yeah, I've just sort of been chatting about what exercise I have been able to do. So the gym that I normally go to, they were straight on it. They immediately, they were putting on classes and one-to-one sessions online, and so I made sure I always start my day with a session with them. Like this morning I did Pilates, so 8 o'clock I was logged on doing my Pilates session before having to log on for another call. So it just starts my day off in a positive way. And yeah, so I've been focusing on that, plus also my son's remote schooling, so we're always chatting each other about how are people doing with the remote schooling. My son's enjoyed it so much, we've actually moved him to homeschooling for his next year, so it's a major change. yeah, so that's the thing. Often I'm now in a call and I say, right, I just have to go and make sure Jake is logged on to his English lesson. So, but
and how old is
yeah,
your son? How old
he's
is your
10.
son?
He's
Wow,
10.
and so he's fully engaged. Obviously, the fact that you're moving away from schooling the next year, he's fully engaged with it. And
Oh, he loves it. It was his idea. So yeah,
wow,
he really loves it.
Yeah,
He's very IT literate. So
yes,
he's yeah, you just
he
got
can
to
come
try and
and
make
help
sure he's not on the computer all the time.
Oh, that's
But
great.
yeah, so you do, but even on you know, the people that you think are the most professional people ever, you do get to see their soft side, because you know, often they have got their children there, or you know, their mother-in-law or whatever. It's nice how you've got to get to know everybody a little bit more, and also I noticed how you, with so many of the clients, they were so much more patient and considerate than normal. Not that obviously all of our clients are lovely, because we wouldn't have clients that aren't lovely, because we will sack them if they're not. But they were, you know, everyone, I think, people rethought their priorities of what's really important. So, you know, what do I really worry about? You know, the health and welfare of your family and friends, that's your top priority and worry. Everything else you can deal with.
Yeah, it's secondary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And in terms of, you were saying about the Pilates aspect, was that something that you were doing before? Would you have got up and gone to a session at the gym, or has that started?
Yes, I did, but because of the traveling and everything, I didn't do it every morning. I mean, I do a mixture of different classes. I was doing about I was probably doing about 3 gym things, but I was also doing a lot of tennis, so I'm still missing my tennis at the moment.
Yeah,
I
the
haven't
social
got back into
interaction
it yet.
that brings back. My tennis club has just restarted again, so it's very exciting just to be able to. I don't know if you're the same, but you can do lots of yoga, you can do lots of Pilates and fitness classes, but actually having that competitive edge, that's what I'm
just hitting that ball. It's just yeah, it's definitely missing tennis. And also I used to often have an occasional boxing class.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just that actual hitting, I think it just really does release certain things, doesn't it? Which however much stretching or lifting weights doesn't do the same.
No, it's just that gone out of my own heart. I've been missing it, so no, that's brilliant. One of the areas we've been asking lots of our guests that have come on is there anything that you've discovered in lockdown that you hadn't done before, like podcasts, films, books, or anything like that? But I know
podcasts, definitely. I'm now I found that I've not actually wanted to watch too much television, which I was sort of surprised about, because normally if you're at home a lot, that would be, and I have spent a lot more time listening to the radio, which then in turn led me to listen to a lot more podcasts. So yeah, now I'm back to running and walking, thank goodness. You know, that's what I do. I put my podcast on. I just have to check, have I got one, you know, ready to go. So yeah, definitely podcasts. Also, you know, because you know, trying to keep your son interested in things, and that he had this thing about wanting to have plushies, these like soft toy things, which I know it might sound a bit childish, but they sort of like it with their favourite characters, and it's a bit of a thing, the computer thing was. And I am the most uncreative, apart from I'm quite musical, but creative-wise, I'm the least creative person anywhere. But even I was like, we ordered our felt and our stuffing, and we've been making our own. So that's been a way to bribe him, saying, right, if you do this, I will make you another plushie. And I am like, goodness no. And I was really pleased when I showed my sister who is very creative, and she used to be a clothes designer, and I was like, oh, here's this Claire, and she was like, oh, well, that's really good. I was like, oh. She's just been nice though.
Oh, that's so true, actually. So many people have discovered arts and crafts, and
Yeah, and I've been spending a lot more time in the garden as well. So yeah, I've just got to work, how many more rose plants can I put into my garden?
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to see where your arts and crafts develops. You'll have your own fashion brand soon.
No.
It's staying at the fashion.
Leave that to my sister.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. But yeah, I think that it's so true as well what we were saying about the television. It's been, because it's there and you're constantly at home, it's important to have that divide and to not just get sucked into everything.
Yeah.
And with the likes of Netflix, it's so easy to just sit down and binge watch. So yeah, the arts and crafts is much better for everyone, I think. So I might have to steal your idea there. That's great. And well, thank you so much for coming on. But our final question that we ask everybody before they depart is, who would you like to nominate to be on a future episode of Positivity?
Oh, okay. I'd like to nominate Belinda Palmer. She runs the Empathy business, and she's a really inspirational business leader. Yeah, and she's a leader in her field, and she's really great.
Oh, brilliant.
She's always good to have a chat with.
Yes, I'm excited to learn about that side as well. So, oh, Nicky, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy homeschooling next year. We'd be excited to see how you get on as well. So thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Bye.